is Yvette, and I'm here to give just a brief overview of the heart block pattern that we're going to be making for the charity quilts in New Zealand. And I know that originally they were telling us to make either all green hearts or to make sure that we were not using red or animal prints. And that was good, and we were all doing exactly what we were told to do. And then they decided that they were also going to make quilts for the first responders, the people who became heroes by helping out with everyone in, you know, all the madness. So now we are being told that we can pretty much make whatever we'd like, because they're going to need just as many quilts for the first responders as they are for the victims of the tragedy out there. So you can make any colors of hearts that you'd like. Heck, make them rainbow if you want. It really doesn't matter. And it also means that you don't have to use this block pattern. You never did have to use this block pattern. Just make sure that when you get the block to me, it is 6.5 inches by 6.5 inches, so that when we sew them into the quilt, they will measure 6 inches finished. Okay, and if you're going to be doing any applique or embroidery or anything of that sort, they would like for all of it to be at least 1.5 inches from the edge of the 6.5 inches. So you shouldn't have more than 5 inches of embroidery or applique in the middle. Okay, but just to go ahead and show this particular block pattern, because it is quite easy, I'm just going over it for those of you who are maybe beginning quilters and just want to have a visual of how things move along. And I know that's how I tend to learn better. So I'm just going to do a real quick overview. The fabric requirements start with the heart fabric. The heart fabric means the colored part. So if you're going to be using solids or fabrics that read as solids, then that means this part of the heart right in the middle. Okay, you're going to start with 2 rectangles that are 2.5 by 4.5 each, and I've got those right here. Okay, so I'm just kind of lay them out. Those are the 2 that you're going to start with the color. Whether it's green, red, orange, yellow, rainbow, purple, it really doesn't matter. If you want to use prints, you can do that as well. So those are the first 2 that you're going to need for the heart fabric. Move that aside a little bit. The next thing they're talking about is the background fabric, which is going to be everything else. So if you're doing white with green or white with something else and you're using solids, then your white fabric is going to be all the rest of the cuts. You're going to need 2 2.5 inch square pieces of white. So that's these 2 right here. And these are going to be to sew the bottom of the heart. And we will be getting to that. So scooch that over. And then you're going to need 4 1-inch squares. So I've got 4 1-inch squares. Those are going to complete the top of the heart. And then all you're going to do after that is you're going to have 2 rectangles for the side borders, which are going to measure 1.5 by 4.5. And you're going to need 2 rectangles for the top and bottom, which are 1.5 by 6.5. Okay, so taking the, let's see, it says I'm going to just go along with you. Draw a diagonal line corner to corner on the wrong side of both the large background squares. These are the large background squares. Okay, so I'm going to take my, where is it? Here it is, my friction pen. And let me try to get a smallish, this is good. And I'm going to go from, now mine is white, so there's really no front or back. I don't really have to worry about that. Why am I looking? I don't even know why I'm looking at that. Okay. And I'm just going to go from corner to corner. And, you know, just remember when you're drawing this line, and let's say you're using like this friction pen, okay? The friction pen itself, right on the point, has a thickness. So you don't want it to go too far in and out. So don't go right down the middle. Kind of go a little bit to the left or right, whether you're left or right-handed. And then just draw your line. Doesn't have to be a big thick line because it'll go away. And you'll do it with the second one. And I just ordered these really great, let me try to do that. I just ordered these really great rulers that are going to apparently make this just a lot quicker. Because this is not hard, but it could definitely be quicker trying to get to that middle piece there. Okay, and then after that, oh, and it says all the small ones as well. Okay, so we might as well just get it all marked right from the beginning. Here we go. And I'm a perfectionist, so I take the time to make sure that it's right. You do not have to do it exactly the way I do it. Absolutely. Whatever works for you. And it also, you know, for the most part with stuff like this, does not really need to be like completely perfect. I mean, it just doesn't. I feel like everything has to be perfect, but that's just because I got something wrong with my brain. Okay, it's close enough. Not trying not to get too close to the ends on these little ones because it starts to fray because the pin will pull it. Drives me crazy. Oops. And now I can't wait to get those rulers. And the only reason that we are drawing these lines on is because it is so much easier once you get to the sewing machine if you just have something to follow. Okay? Alright, number 2. Place the squares on the corners of the heart fabric and sew on the lines. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. You're going to have, let's just say that's the top. Alright, so we will take, what are they doing? Oh, they actually have it going side to side like this. Okay, so let's say you take one of these, and you'll take one of the little ones, those are going to be on the top, and you want to sew it on, so you want your line to go this way, and you want this line to go this way, because then once you sew on that line and you cut this part off, it'll flap out and you'll have a heart going, you'll have like that little square heart right there. So that's how we're going to put these on. Okay. And then we'll take these larger ones and we're going to put them, this one is going to go this way because the heart is going to go where you're leaving the green. That's where the heart's going to go. And the other one will go like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go sew this, and I'll be right back to show you how we press it and make it look more like hearts, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back with the 2 pieces, and oops, I've got them backwards. So this is how they go. The one thing I wanted to say to you if you are making these for the first time is that, you know, these these four little squares that you're going to sew on are, you know, pretty easy to get on, but when you're putting sewing these bigger blocks on, I recommend that you start sewing up at this area right here instead of at these bottom points, because these bottom points will tend to get sucked into your feed dogs if you start right on a point. So I always start on the outside. I just wanted to say that because I find that to be a little helpful. So now that we've got them sewed on, we are going to trim off the extras a 1/4 inch from where you sewed or from your stitch line. So let's go ahead and do this one first. And since I still have my little lines on there from my where to stitch, I can just put my 1/4 inch line right there, and it makes it very easy. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take this piece over, or these two pieces, over to the ironing board, and I'm going to press these out. And actually, I'll probably press them open, just because it's going to lay flatter, and I think that'll be more helpful for the ladies who are sewing them all together. So I'll be right back after I finish pressing those. Okay, so I have pressed those seams open, and the funny thing is I just read on here where it says, and press the seams open. And I hadn't even read over this yet, to be honest with you. Okay, so the next step is we're going to put these right sides together. We're going to sew right down this side using a 1/4 inch seam, which I will mark, and then I'll be right back to show you how we're going to attach the borders. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have joined them together down the middle here. I have gone ahead and pressed it open, and now we're ready to put the borders on. The first thing you're going to put on are the side borders, so we'll take these two smaller pieces and we'll have them one on each side, and of course I am going to mark it to make sure I get that 1/4 inch seam. And then once I have that together, I'll come back and we'll show you adding on these last two borders. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got the two side borders sewn on, and I'm going to take the two top borders and add them, and I'll be right back with the finished block. Okay, so here we are with the final heart block, and there you go. So we've followed all the steps. It looks really nice, and you're done. So you'll take as many of these as you can make. Actually, it's interesting to me that it took a lot less fabric than I thought it was going to take just to make this one. So go ahead and just make as many as you can, or as many as you'd like, and send them off to me, and then I'll forward them on to New Zealand for all of us. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!